Hey, what's up everyone? Kobanamani456 here today, presenting to all a new Top 5, as we will be covering my Top 5 favorite soundtracks for the Sonic series. Just remember that these are all opinion, not fact, and the way I'll be choosing my top 5 favorites are how much I like the soundtrack overall. So basically, a game may have one of my favorite songs, but if the rest of the soundtrack isn't as stellar, then it ain't gonna make the cut. Also, yes, I know it's been well over a year since the last top 5, as these honestly take a really long time to produce, so if you would like to see more of these, show your support and smash that like button to 5,000 likes for the next top 5. Anyways, enough of my rambling, let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so to start off this list, we have the amazing soundtrack from Sonic the Hedgehog for PlayStation 3 and 360. And yes, I know I could say a lot about how this is without a doubt one of the worst games in the series, though some may argue it's the best. I'm not going to argue with you, I respect your opinion, so respect mine, don't get all in a hissy fit. But I can agree with most people that the music for this game is incredible, so we're going to be positive today, as I remember the day when I first saw the trailers for Sonic 06, and the guitar and the His World theme was just so memorable that whenever I would run, I would have my arms to the side like Sonic and Naruto and basically hum it in my head while doing so. Yeah, I was definitely one of those kids. Anyways, this game has such fitting music for so many different environments that you feel even more immersed, as some of my favorites are Flame Core's Volcano theme, Crisis City, Tropical Jungle, the vocal theme of His World, along with the instrumental and orchestrated versions, and then my absolute favorite themes in the game are the aquatic bass ones, as to this day, I still use the first theme for aquatic bass to go to sleep, because, I don't know, the little guy in the background that goes, "Adi-dum," I don't know, it just sounds really cool to me, but at the same time, it had this tranquility to it with the piano, making it one of my favorite aquatic themes, as it perfectly captures the atmosphere of the stage, which is a dilapidated, abandoned underwater base with secret tech and lots of mysteries awaiting to be found. The character themes are also really good, though not too cheesy like the ones in Heroes, and I know some people are going to disagree with me with that, but, you know, like I said, opinions. Anyway, even though the game itself doesn't really live up to how stellar the soundtrack is, it doesn't take away from the fact that Sonic 06 has one of the most immersive soundtracks in the Sonic series, and that's an incredible feat, making this sit at number 5. Alright, so at number 4 we have ourselves Sonic Unleashed, as this game did a phenomenal job meshing real-world themes with the Sonic universe, and not just with the environments, but with the music as well, as there's so much variety in the soundtrack because we have themes based on China, Greece, Africa, Italy, New York, and so much more, yet it still stays super faithful to what we love in Sonic music, like the upbeat tempos, the drums, and bass. Also, the main theme for the game, Endless Possibilities from Jarrett Reddick, is probably one of the greatest vocal themes in this series, as it's still cheesy but it's just so damn good you can't help but sing along. Some more of my favorites are the day and night themes for Chunan and Autobot, Shamar Day, Empire City Night, Halaska Night, and last but not least, I love the Shamar Hub theme. Like seriously, this game's hub music is so good, sometimes I'll just run around in them for no damn reason, just to jam to the music, and the sax in the Shamar Night hub is just orgasmic. Another thing about this game soundtrack is that it's quite vast because of how there are themes for day and night. So basically, you hear an upbeat, heart-pumping version of Chunan in the day, but then you also get a slower, more relaxed night theme that still sticks with the Chinese vibes. And then, like I said, you have the hub world music as well, along with the battle theme for the Werehog. And yeah, I know it gets repetitive and albeit a little jarring, but it's still really good if you actually listen to it when you want to. Because of the size, grandness, and variety of Unleashed soundtrack, it sits at a very well-deserved 4th place on my top 5 list. Okay, so it's time for the biggest bombshell of this top 5 list, as we are moving on to number 3, and that is Sonic and the Black Knight. Now just remember, this is all opinion, not fact. I'm still gonna tighten my abs though, because I'm prepared for some sucker punches from you guys in the comments. Anyways, Sonic and the Black Knight has a super underrated soundtrack, which is quite odd because it's one of the best in the series and stands out from the rest. While some people may not like this game, if you take a listen to it, it actually has a lot of hidden gems. First off, almost the entire soundtrack is orchestrated and has a very medieval sound to it, ranging from heroic to melancholy, but at the same time still sounding very Sonic, as a lot of the tunes have that very fast tempo and the rock vibes that we're very familiar with from the series. Plus, this game has 4 Crush 40 songs, which are arguably some of the best, like Night of the Wind, Live Life, Fight the Night, and the Crush 40 version of With Me. And I know most people will say that Live and Learn is their favorite Crush 40 theme, but I actually like Night of the Wind and Fight the Night just a little bit more. Please don't kill me, I beg of thee, Sama. The version of With Me from Emma Gillette and Tina Karlsdottir is outstanding as well. Also, with it being set in medieval times, I get a lot of Fate Zero and Game of Thrones vibes from it. And because of the setting, it sets itself apart from the rest of the soundtracks in the series, but it's not too much like some of the themes you'll hear in, say, Sonic and the Secret Rings or Shadow the Hedgehog. And we also get some really awesome character themes like Percival's introduction, and some being remixes of classics like Tails' theme. The stage music is really good too, like seriously, just listen to some of the stage themes like Misty Lake, Deep Woods, Crystal Cave, Head to Avalon, and then the acoustic version of Night of the Wind? Son! Like seriously, the list just goes on and on. I could gush about this forever. Hell, even the menu music is godlike! So yeah, this soundtrack is really underrated, and it's without a doubt one of the best in the series, as it differentiates itself from the rest, but still stays very faithful to what made us fans of this series' music, making it deserve a place on this top 5 list. So the next one was actually quite difficult to decide because it almost got first, but was narrowly squeaked out, as my number 2 favorite Sonic soundtrack is the Japanese version of Sonic CD. And I know some of you all may argue that the American version is better, but I don't know, I've always leaned towards the Japanese one, as it's more upbeat, but at the same time captures the darker undertones that CD possesses, making it more fitting and immersive. And I don't know, when I hear some of the US themes without seeing the game, I can't imagine what the hell the music is going to, because some of them are just so bizarre. But anyways, let's talk about the Japanese version. I love games where they have different remixes of one main theme, but each remix has enough of a twist to give you a different vibe, and this is where this game's soundtrack shines. A CD was unique from the other classics because it incorporated time travel with past, present, good future, and bad future, and because your actions decided what happened in the game, it also changed what music you would hear. We'd get themes that were upbeat, like something you'd hear in a cheery kid show like the Yeah! and cheering and Palm Tree Panic Good Future, and then there were darker songs like the boss music with Work That Sucker to Death. Alright, yeah, work that sucker to death. Anyway, others full of serenity like Quartz Quadrant Good Future, and then some sounded like they were actually ripped straight out of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, the variety in the soundtrack is just so good, and you can close your eyes, listen to the music, and envision what's going on. As some of my favorites besides the ones I just mentioned are Tidal Tempest, Palm Tree Panic Past, Collision Chaos, Quartz Quadrant Past. By the way, the bass line on this is probably one of the best I've ever heard. And there's just so much more, the list goes on. And everything about the soundtrack is super memorable and so pleasing. So if you don't have this on your own top 3 favorite Sonic soundtracks, then I seriously can't talk to you anymore, even though it's your opinion. Bro, you got a sucky opinion, bro. I can't even look at you the same. But anyway, this honestly would be number 1 for me. If there wasn't one I just liked just a little bit better. Alright, so now I'm gonna give a few honorable mentions to some other amazing soundtracks that almost made the cut, but just fell a little bit short to the ones I have on this list. As the first game I'm gonna be giving an honorable mention to is Sonic Adventure 2. As this game honestly would have been on the list, but I just felt like the others were a little bit better. You know, sure, it's got the nostalgia factor and songs like City Escape, Live and Learn, which are all great, along with a couple others like SA2 in the Groove, Meteor Herd, and then bruh, the Rouge themes. All of the Rouge themes, especially Dry Lagoon, are really good. Like, it's just a nice change from all the guitar riffs, and it kind of has this early 2000s vibe, which I really love because it reminds me a lot of one of my favorite bands, Jamiroquai. Now, if you haven't heard of them, definitely check them out, because Falk and his team, the people behind Sonic before and after the sequel soundtracks, and the person who's actually going to be behind Freedom Planet 2's soundtrack, definitely took inspiration and even some samples from Jamiroquai. Now, let's just say if those games weren't actually fan games, yo, they would low-key be taking over this list right now. Anyways, yeah, there are a lot of amazing tunes in Sonic Adventure 2, but I mostly listen to the music for the memories, you know? Like, I feel like I go back to the other ones on my top 5 list more often, and the songs I listen to off the Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack are most of the time either the Knuckles raps or Rouge themes, as bruh. I'm all about that Pumpkin Hill and chill life with the ladies, my boy. Anyway, I'm not saying that the music for Sonic and Shadow aren't great, but I feel like people let those overshadow other songs with great guitar riffs that I honestly like more than Sonic Adventure 2's. And I know you may be like, whoa, what about Live and Learn or City Escape? Well, I mean, I don't know. I like What I'm Made Of more as a Crush 40 song, and Endless Possibilities more than City Escape. You know, like, everything is good on the soundtrack, but there are just a lot of other songs in the Sonic series that sound similar, and I feel do it a little bit better than Sonic Adventure 2, so don't think I'm trying to be like, you know, some hater with the trend that Sonic Adventure 2 is bad, or I'm trying to be an edgelord by not having this game on the list. But it's just personal preference. Like I said, you know, all these games in my top 5 list are extremely close to each other, and Sonic Adventure 2 was very close to being on this list. Just one of the problems with this series, you know, having so much amazing music. Another honorable mention is Sonic 3 and Knuckles, as all of Sonic 3's music was done by Michael Jackson. Hydro City Zone Act 2 is my favorite video game theme of all time, and then the Knuckles part has Flying Battery Zone and many others. I also love how Act 1 and 2 don't have identical music, and they change it up, which adds more variety. And while it has some of my favorite songs, overall as a soundtrack, it's not on this list, but was very close as well. Sonic R is of course going to get an honorable mention for this, because every time I listen to it, I feel like a kid again, playing Sonic R on the Gems Collection, which, by the way, Mega and Gems Collection get honorable mentions as well, because they have some of the best menu music and remixes in the series for no damn reason at all. But you can tell Sega just takes music super seriously. Anyways, back to Sonic R. TJ Davis is a goddess. Like, seriously, this soundtrack may not be super fitting for a racing game, but you cannot deny that this music is amazing, especially if you like 90s music like this. It's just so good. You can't help but want to learn the lyrics and sing along, and the instrumental themes are some of the best too. Only problem is that this soundtrack has just a few tracks and not as much variety as the others. You know, I felt like if I put this on my top 5 list, it would be purely for nostalgia, and I don't think that would be fair to the others. So yeah, I love Sonic R soundtrack, but I don't know, I just wouldn't feel right putting it on my top 5 list, you know? Anyways, now that we got the honorable mentions out of the way, which I totally added to this just so there wouldn't be any flame wars in the comments, god dang. So now it's time to move on to my number 1 favorite soundtrack in the Sonic series, and that is Sonic Colors for the Nintendo Wii. When it comes to variety, Colors has it covered, and it does it with excellence too, as every stage captures the location you're exploring perfectly, as you're in an interstellar amusement park made for Sonic, so there are going to be a lot of upbeat tempos here. And while Tropical Resorts isn't my favorite track in the Sonic series, it's one of my favorite first stage themes because it's so different from the traditional music that we do get from the first stages in Sonic games, which are most of the time associated with green. Then there are also 3 remixes for each zone along with the hub theme, as the first one is obviously the main theme, the second remix is usually a more lax version of the main theme, and then the third one is comparable to, say, the athletic remixes from the new Super Mario Bros. Series. And the hub themes, along with the options music, is just incredible, as it kind of gives this cinematic feel to it that reminds you that you are about to go on a great adventure, and it kind of has a few vibes to Kingdom Hearts if you listen carefully. So yeah, we get ourselves a lot of orchestrated music along with techno, soft rock, hard rock, jazz, and then, you know, the bells and chimes that we hear in old school Sonic games. And some of my favorites are definitely Aquarium Park, Planet Wisp Act 3, and Asteroid Coaster Act 3, Planet Wisp and Asteroid Coaster's map themes, and then you can't forget about the final boss theme, which is just glorious. But, you know, a lot of people talk about the guitar riffs in Sonic Adventure 2 like they're the best of all time and everything, but I feel like Asteroid Coasters are better, especially the map theme, which just has this much more darker, hardcore vibe to it, you know? Like, it feels like I'm listening to something from Shadow the Hedgehog, but like a really, really good song, not like one of the really cringy vocal themes. But yeah, also Aquarium Park is literally the best water theme right after Hydro City Zone Act 2 itself, and then bruh, Terminal Velocity Act 2. You all have no idea how much I love listening to the extended version of that song. It is so damn good. And I know I'm gushing right now, I sound like a major hardcore fanboy right now, but there's just too many good tunes in this game for any mood that you're in, whether you want to relax and chill or rock out. And you know, Reach for the Stars is a pretty good vocal theme as well. Though I'm just gonna say this right now, I really don't like Speak With Your Heart. Like, you know, they're both cheesy, but Speak With Your Heart is just a little bit too much with that. Anyways, Sonic Colors is #1 with how it covers many genres while still never letting you forget you're in a Sonic game and in an amusement park that's in space. It's very immersive like the others on this list, has great themes not just for the stages, but for the hub worlds and menus, and all of the music is either the best in the series or on par with other greats, making it overall my #1 pick for best soundtrack in the Sonic series. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that wraps it up. I am finally off script right now. I can just kind of calm down. Seriously, it took so long to write that script, and you know, just kind of one thing I actually did to kind of get a better feel for the music and, you know, just be a little bit more passionate, I guess, about this top 5 was while I was writing this script, I listened to the entire soundtracks of all these games all over again, just to kind of, you know, vibe with it. It was really fun writing this one, and I really am looking forward to doing another top 5 very soon. I'm not sure how long it's going to be because, you know, like I said, it mostly relies on the reception on this video and future top 5s, but you know, if you all do support it and, you know, leave a comment and all that stuff, letting me know your top 5 favorite soundtracks in the series, I would really, really love to hear them because, you know, these things are all opinion based. They're not facts or anything like that. So if you have a different opinion, I would love to hear it. You know, maybe Sonic Adventure 2 is your favorite soundtrack in the Sonic series. That's awesome. I love that. Or maybe, you know, maybe it's Sonic Chronicles of Dark Brotherhood. You know, you'd be nay-naying with that. Whatever it is, I would love to hear what you all have to say. And, you know, next time, I guess I'll be doing top 5 worst Sonic games, because I was supposed to do that as my next top 5, but I don't know, just with a lot of negativity that was going on over the past year, I felt like, you know, let's do something positive first, then we can go do top 5 worst Sonic games, and I can move on to other positive stuff as well. So I feel like there's been so much hate with Sonic over the past, like, you know, year and a half, ever since Sonic Boom came out, basically. And, you know, sometimes it gets a little bit old. You don't want to always talk about something negative, even though, you know, you can. It's justified. It's just, it kind of gets weird. It wears you down. So that's why I just needed to do this first. And I hope you all enjoyed it. But anyway, enough of my rambling. Big thanks to Nibroc-Rock for this template. It is gorgeous. He did a fantastic job. This is seriously probably my favorite template I've ever had for a top 5 series. So give it up for my boy Nibroc. Always doing a fantastic job, and definitely appreciate him. But anyway, thanks again for watching. See you all. Have a good day. Peace, Republic of Kobanamites. Take care.